What are you doing? Alright, and we realized we forgot to eat our Slim Jims.
Cobra Kai Season 2 spoilers ahead. Proceed with caution.
Oh boy.
I like Slim Jims too.
When do they eat Slim Jims in the show?
When Miguel comes in and is like, "Hey,
Yes.
Sensei,
My
my
mom
mom's
doesn't want you
concerned
eating
about you eating Slim Jims
for
and
breakfast
yeah.
or something like that, yeah.
Speaking of, I just realized Miguel never says Johnny, does he?
Sensei.
He always just says Sensei. Huh, interesting.
Alright, so we're talking about episode 7. We had the freezer, the Soshu Geiko, and the Kon Geiko. It was super fun. The Soshu Geiko aspect. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go ahead and start with my cake, which is not from Cobra Kai at all. It's just been my birthday yesterday, so actually I got a whole half sheet for just me, so I need some help finishing it. The Soshu Geiko aspect of it was outside, and by this time in the year, it was about 20 degrees outside.
Yep.
We were wearing tank tops and shorts because it was supposed to be 107 degrees. You were shirtless. You didn't even have a shirt on
that
day.
was all the redness and everything, and it's just makeup.
Yes.
It's spray suntan lotion.
Yes,
To make us
look oily.
glossy. And then water and probably some.
I had lots of blush on my face.
I did too.
Blush all over, like the top of my head, cheeks, like everywhere you get a little like heated.
Yeah.
They were putting blush on us. It was actually so cold and gray that day. I have no idea how they made those shots look warm and sunny.
I don't know. Well, that was the day too because I was shirtless. I was trying to warm up a little bit too, so I was doing push-ups.
Oh yeah.
And I challenged our one of our ADs, Kevin, to a push-up contest. We're probably about 50 in, and me being kind of cocky, being ahead, I decided to say, "Is that all you got, old man?" Kevin, not old. He proceeds to stop, look at me, take one hand away, put it behind his back, look at me the entire time, and just do one-handed push-up and back up. So I just gave up at that point.
We were being sprayed down with water, so they would come around, the hair department, the wardrobe department, the makeup department, everybody had a bottle of water. So hair was spraying right around here to make sure that it looked sweaty. Makeup department was spraying us down with glycerin, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Glycerin is like this like thick, like kind of jelly consistency that when it's applied to your skin, like it makes it look shiny like water is there, but it doesn't melt away or dry or anything like that, so it stays looking wet. The wardrobe department had to make rings of sweat around all of our necks and armpits, so they were coming around and they would be like, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry," and they'd put the water on us and be like, "Ugh." On the flip side of that, we had the Kon Geiko, which was inside of the freezer, which was built on the sound stages right next door to the Cobra Kai dojo.
Yeah, and it's probably like 80 degrees in there.
It was so hot in there. We got there that morning, and like I said, a lot of time we just didn't have a lot of time to rehearse things because we were moving so fast.
Ralph and Marty were supposed to have their scene outside that morning, and we were supposed to have
We would have time to train
to rehearse that little
the fighting,
sparring.
like, yeah.
But we got there that morning, and it was, I mean, it was fall in Atlanta, and it was raining.
Yeah, I forgot
So
about that.
they had to move all the freezer scenes up to the start of the day. So we show up, and we're doing all the lines in the freezer, and they're like, "Okay, time for the fight." And Hito
we
and
kept
Janelle
being like-
and me and Mary were all like,
But weren't Hito and Janelle choreographing the dream sequence or something?
that was a double up day. So
They were on a different
they
unit
were doing
something else.
something
like
completely
that.
else.
And
And then they had to run back over
because we kept going like, where are they? Like, are we going to be able to have time to learn it? And they were like, we're doing the best we can. They're doing their jobs. We're like, okay, just let us know when it's time to learn it. Let us know when we get to rehearse. And they're like, don't worry about it. We're just going to shoot this scene first. And I was like, okay, so when are we going to get to learn it? And they were like, don't worry about it. We're just going to go ahead and line it up. So that's where they watch you do the scene. They watch you rehearse it. And then they decide like where the cameras are going to go. They line up the cameras and they see like, hey, this is where we want this shot to look. We still hadn't learned the fight up to this point. So they're like, okay, dudes, just step through it. I was like, I don't know it. I have no idea where I'm going to go. What do you want me to do? And they were like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And at that point, they're like, all right, just go learn it. We have Hito and Janelle on the fly. They're running right now. And while you're learning it, we're going to light the shot.
Yeah.
So they start setting up the lights and everything. And we're in the Cobra Kai dojo learning our fight. So the Hito and Janelle have been teaching our stunt doubles, Kane and Julia, how to do the fight. So Kane is training with Tanner. Julia's training with me. And then we swapped. And I was training with Kane. He was training with Julia. And we're both just drilling it over and over and over and over and over again. And they're like, all right, guys, like, we need to go. And we're like, okay, we need 2 more minutes. As soon as we got in there, they were like, all right, we gotta go. So they were shooting everything in a different frame rate than they usually use so that they had the ability, because you can shoot something in slow motion and it's always going to play back in slow motion. So that there's a certain frame rate for that. You can shoot something in regular timing, but it has the ability to be slowed down into slow motion. That's what they were doing because they wanted a continuous shot where they could slow-mo down a certain punch and then speed it back up on the recoil. And so that, like, we had to do it. It had to look clean and crisp. We literally had just learned it. We didn't even memorize it. We were having to say it out loud to ourselves, like right before we go, we'd go, okay, and that's a block and a sweep and then a kick and then a punch, and then we were to go like this. We're like saying it back and forth to each other, and they were like, do you guys got it? We're like, sure.
Maybe you'll find out.
And so we started doing it. I have never been so bruised in a fight as I was in that fight. I bruise really easily, but like normally we drill things, we have enough time to like learn it so that we don't actually make too much contact with each other. We are just going full force. You also don't have the ability. It's like, imagine, for those of you who do know martial arts, like imagine trying to take all that training that you've had about punching, kicking, contact, force, putting all of your energy behind something, and then zap out 90% of that. All the energy, all the force, all the momentum. Pull that out of it, but still make it look like it's still there. It's also scary in those moments where you're like, oh my god, if I throw this punch incorrectly, I'm straight up gonna knock out my coworker. There's a punch that I throw that goes like way off. It's like way far away from your head. But like at that moment, it's like that or punch him in the face, knock him out, and we don't have the rest of the scene. But there's some of those things where it's just like you just have to make certain sacrifices, right? Or I guess me being also having no training before this, I had to accept myself that some things weren't going to look exactly how I wanted them to look. I tried my absolute hardest. Yeah. There's some things you just can't. It happens the way it happens. Yeah. Are you not eating the frosting?
No, I don't like frosting.
You're wrong. We get to going and doing this fight, and oh my god, like I was covered in bruises just because we were going and we didn't have time to think to yourself, no, pull back. We were just like, oh my god, what's the next step? Yeah. Be focused on like what's next. But yeah, so it was super fun though. All right, do we want to share Samoa now?
Yes.
While we eat our Samoas, we'll talk about episode 8, which is where we roller skated. I had one experience roller skating before, okay?
We had to practice.
I was like 12 years old the last time I roller skated, and my sister was really good at it, and she's a little younger than I am. By the way, I don't have anything to toast the marshmallows, so we're just eating them dry.
They're really good.
Stop it. My sister was better than me at it, and that upset me because she's younger than me, and I was like, I'm the big sister, I get to be good at things. I wouldn't roller skate after that. Then they come to us when we were shooting episode 3, and they were like, hey, how are you guys at roller skating?
I was like, professional.
He's freaking amazing. And I was like, yeah, I can figure it out.
Growing up in small town Ohio, we have a bowling alley and a roller skating rink, so I grew up roller skating. Hey now.
Hey now. This is what dreams are made of. Anyway.
Okay.
So our director for those 2 episodes for 7 and 8 was Jen, and she was amazing. She was the director from season 1, and she was awesome. So she heard around town about my panic, and she was like, let's go roller skating together and we'll like talk about the episode. And I was like, take pity on me. I appreciate it. Thank you. We go roller skating together. I left the key to the locker in my back pocket and then proceeded to fall about every 5 seconds for the whole night. We were there for over an hour, and every time that I skated more than like 5 feet, I fell. I had a black, I'm not talking purple, not blue, black bruise on my butt this big from that freaking key. It was bad. By the end of it, I was honestly able to keep myself up a little bit. Then Janelle, who also heard around town about my panic, was like, we're going to do a roller skating lesson for everyone who needs it.
And everyone ended up going that night.
Tanner didn't need it, but I just made him go with me. We did want to rehearse like the actual like choreography of us. We were gonna have to skate in tandem. We go to the roller rink, we did all the rehearsals for all of us, and Sholo was like almost as bad as me, but like not as bad as me. I was by far the worst. We had like 3 feet of extra space before they called action, and the camera was actually on a golf cart. They gave us like a 3, 2, 1 or whatever, and we would kind of skate in. I'd give like a push, but I couldn't do the like long strides. All my strides were really short, so it was like push, 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 push. It makes you dizzy if you look on camera. I was breaking his hand. I locked my elbow, so as I would start to wobble, I would just lean into him, and so with just one arm and balancing himself, he had to try and pull my weight back up and balance me. And there's actually like a moment, it's before the Pretty in Pink song starts, you can see me start to slip, and I like start to fall, and you can see Tanner like pull me back up.
Did I?
By the way, we also ordered from Amazon this box of 80s candy. We also have from Cobra Kai one of Robbie's favorite treats, cereal with water. But we're waiting to put the water in it because we don't want to ruin some perfectly good cereal. So we'll start with the candy.
Oh.
All right, for 80s candy, what do we got?
We have some Smarties, Pop Rocks.
Zots, I feel like, is something I haven't seen. So I feel like
I've
that's
not
80s
seen.
maybe. Fun Dip, my favorite.
I've not tried a lot of these candies because I used to be allergic to like candies when I was younger. No, I was allergic to corn syrup.
It's red, but it says caramel.
What's a Zot?
So we got through that day though. Honestly, it went pretty well, I feel like. It was hard when I had to fake break the skate. I would just put the stopper down or the roller skate to like trip myself. How do you do this? Oh, when I had to fake break the skate, I actually like wiped myself out. But also trying to coordinate a kiss while on roller skates
God.
was very complicated.
Terrible.
I think we're on to 9. What are you doing? Why is everything watermelon flavored?
Was it watermelon big thing in the 80s?
I don't know. 80s babies, answer below, please. Anyway, so in episode 9, we had the training montage, which was super fun. Oh, there is a shot, and I think they cut around it, but I actually, when I was supposed to be being dragged hungover out of Johnny's apartment by my dad, we shot that before we shot the rest of the episode, like any of the party scenes. We shot that before we shot the party scenes.
Oh, we did it that way.
So I thought the denim jacket that was left on the couch was supposed to be mine. So I was like, here, I'll just like grab my denim jacket as like Ralph is saying his last lines to Billy. Come to find out that was supposed to be Tanner's wardrobe. I think they cut around it where you can't actually tell, but I took Tanner's jacket out of the scene. We had 2 weekends to shoot the final fight for episode 10. The first weekend, then we had Monday, Tuesday off, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we shot the party scenes. And then Saturday, Sunday we went back and did the last weekend of the fight, and then Monday we were supposed to fly out. So we were filming in this beautiful house to be Moon's like house for the party, and it had this gorgeous bedroom where everyone took naps. We were all so tired while we were shooting this part of the season. We straight up like there was a nap corner. We all like had a circulation of who was allowed to nap in time, and we had like 3 of us laying like sandwiched together on this like California king size bed napping. Anytime we weren't on camera, there was like 1 to 3 of us were napping. Oh, I want a chewy spring. So episode 10 was insane. Start to finish, we had crazy, crazy days. The craziest was the last weekend. We shot at a technical college, and we got 2 weekends to shoot, but in order to rehearse the fight, we had to go on weekdays. There were classes going on, and we were rehearsing these fight sequences. You would not believe how crazy, I mean, I guess you saw, but you can only imagine how crazy the actual learning process was, because again, you have us, plus the stunt doubles, plus the stunt coordinators, all walking through every step, yelling at the top of our voice, like practicing these things. Kept having to come out and like close doors, say like, people are taking tests in here.
I was gonna say it was exam week.
And overall, it was a really, really crazy experience. Like,
It wasn't.
we
Extremely crazy.
had 2 days to learn all the fighting, didn't we?
It was really fun though when we got the fighting down, we actually were shooting it, because everything you see, all the students that are around us, usually when you have background, they can't actually talk, so you can actually hear lines and stuff. They just fake that they're yelling
You
or
have to
do
like
whatever.
mime and stuff like that.
But no, our writers, they're also our directors, Josh and Hayden, they were like, no, we want the energy. We want everybody screaming. So everything, all the crowds that you see, any grunts, a lot of the lines and stuff are just ADR that we had to add in, because it is literally just anywhere from 100 to like 200 people through that entire fight scene, just yelling at the top of their lungs.
And this was 2 weekends that we shot the school stuff. We had the one day where we shot mostly just like getting out of the car and like all of those things. We had also like the moments leading up to the fight, like where I come out of the classroom and stuff like that. We had like those things. But again, for the most part, we were going non-stop fight sequences. We actually, on the final day, had 3 units running. We had A unit, a B unit, and a stunt unit.
Yeah.
So the A unit was shooting stuff in the school that involved not just stunts, but also like words, dialogue, things like that, scene content.
Yeah.
Stunt unit was shooting Dimitri and Hawk running through the halls and all that stuff. And then B unit was over at the hospital, which was a different building. Okay, so the oneer, which is what it's called when there's no cut.
If you go back and watch it, you'll see it's actually really, really hard to get. We spent, I think, one of the days rehearsing for all the final fight stuff. It was just one day on that.
On the oneer.
And I think it's like 83 seconds
83
long.
seconds.
It doesn't seem like that much considering the entire episode and all the fighting's 11 minutes long. It was really, really intense.
It was a lot of work from everybody. We did 6 good takes of that. So imagine 6 takes of non-stop fighting. Again, it's not like it's like a real fight where it's like somebody throws a punch and you have learned how to block a punch. You have to remember 10 steps ahead what's going to be happening. You have to be paying attention to the person in front of you's fight to see when they're ending so that you know right when to start yours. We had 3 Texas switches in that one oneer. So a Texas switch, like I said, is when the stunt double and the actor switch back and forth. So there was no calling freeze and everyone froze and then they did a switch. This was an on-the-fly Texas switch, 3 of them. So there's a shot where it follows you and Miguel.
Robbie and Miguel, he throws me in the locker, we do all that stuff, and then I kick him out and I run to do the punch. Sholo had went around the corner and Noah
Hidden behind the crowd.
had jumped in, and that's who I threw against the locker. And then it's you and Peyton.
And when I get slammed against the locker initially, the first person to come in and start throwing punches and kicks is Janelle Kerfman, who also stunt doubled Peyton. So she comes in, and then I kick her out of frame, and then in comes Peyton. And then I push Peyton against a wall. I get backed up. We see Peyton, we see me, and when it comes back around to me, Peyton ducked behind. Again, at this point also, Janelle had to stay right behind the cameraman the whole time so that she could duck in and out because there were no doors, no crowd that she could get behind fast enough in order to trade out her and Peyton. So she's literally like this close, like ghosting the cameraman like right behind him, following his every move. The 2 of them switch out again, and then I throw Janelle when we do the roll on the ground. That's me and Janelle. And then when the camera comes around and it's focusing on my face, Janelle went through the door out where Stingray and the principal come out. She goes through that door, runs up these stairs and hides in there while Peyton gets on the ground and pops up into frame as it comes around my shoulder onto Peyton. 3 Texas switches in an 80-second oneer. It was insane.
Yeah.
And every take, the crowd was giving it their all. They were killing it.
They're just screaming
Like
at the
top of their voices, like get him, like murder him, like horrible stuff that you would. But I mean, it was so, I guess, perfect for Cobra Kai. It was very get him a body bag. So we get done with that, and everybody's like, oh, sigh of relief. It was only the beginning.
Yeah, that was like one of the first things.
That was like the first weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we had so much fighting that last weekend. So, okay, the big thing that happened in episode 10 for me was pretty monumental. So on the last weekend, we had Saturday and Sunday to shoot. Monday, we had to leave. Saturday, Sunday, we go to shoot all this stuff. Saturday morning, first shot of the day is me and Peyton's character Tori. Peyton pushes me through a door and the fight spills out into the hall.
Yeah, that's right before the stairs stuff.
Yes. So we start with that first thing. Peyton's pushing me backwards, and it's Janelle, her stunt double. And Janelle and I have been working together a lot and have become really close on the set. She was kind of like my compass when it came to the fighting stuff. I was very much like, hey, am I doing this right? You know, give me a heads up, like check me because I want this to look great. We get to that first thing and we do the rehearsal, and I was so concerned with this block where I had to go. Like I had to block here, and then I had to like step out of the way of a kick or something, or maybe push her foot or something. And then I was supposed to make it all the way under her arm and around to the other side to continue the fight. And I was so concerned with how to get around that big arc. I mean, I kept asking my stunt double, I kept asking Janelle, like, where do my feet go? How are they supposed to make it from here to there? How do I do it? And they kept trying to help me, so we finally, like, I was so concerned with that. We go to do the rehearsal, and Janelle's like, hey, on that first block, when you come down, like, don't give me much with your hands because you're gonna get yourself hurt. And I don't need much. You just need to sell it when you pull back. And I was like, gotcha. Don't worry about it. I got that one down. I'm worried about that other block. And they call action, and we go. And of course, what do? I ignore everything Janelle told me.
And gave it your all.
I gave it my all. And my hand went directly down, these 3 fingers hyperextended backwards on her foot. So I fought through a lot of injuries on the show, and I didn't say a word about any of it. Everybody did their best to be safe, but there are things where I made stupid decisions or where I wasn't thinking straight because, again, this isn't my career. I'm not a professional. There are moments where I slipped up and little things happened. I fought through a lot of stuff. We both did. You fought through like a pulled hamstring for most of the season.
It's true.
Took it in stride and did our best to keep fighting. This one, I couldn't do it. It was like it went backwards, and instantly tears started coming down my face. Brought me over to a chair. The medic was actually back on base camp. Somebody else had gotten injured at base camp, so he wasn't on the set when it happened. Somebody get ice. We need ice. So everybody's like running around doing whatever they can do. I was sobbing. Like, I cry easily, but I get really embarrassed crying on set. Like, I do not do that. I take my job super, super seriously, and I work very hard to be as professional as possible.
I cry constantly.
Of course. I mean, it's daily. They kept trying to see if I could move it. I could not move it. I was in so much pain, and my fingers just all became balloons. It swelled up. I went bright purple. My hand was purple, like from here to there. All it was, I mean, it was some hyperextended like tendons, and it was bone bruising. I ended up that night having to go to the ER. So that day they were like, look, just go sit down. I was like, no, like it's not that bad. It's actually starting to go numb because of the ice. I was like, I think I can still work. Just give me like 20 minutes and I'll be fine. 20 minutes passed and they were like, how do you feel? And I was like, 5 more minutes. And they were like, okay. And then Dieter, the saint that he is of a first AD, was like, forget it. He cleared my whole day and he shot everything else that didn't have me in it. And then
the stuff we were supposed to shoot the next day, everything just got flipped.
My amazing coworkers don't hate me for it, hopefully. So I ended up at the ER that night. They did x-rays. They were like, nothing's broken. It's just bruised really badly. So I said, all right, tape it up. I'm going back to work. So the next day, with these 2 fingers buddy taped together, which they actually forgot to scrub out. So if you go frame by frame, you can catch it sometimes.
Oh, really?
So I go back the next day. Keep in mind, I forgot to mention, I got a stress sprain on my ankle on our days off. So we shot Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, we had off. Monday, I woke up and I was like, ow, when I got out of bed. And I realized I had sprained my ankle somehow in the way I stepped out of bed, just because of my ankles are not strong enough because I've never worked out before. I didn't tell anyone because I was like, oh, I don't want them to like think it's a big deal because it's not a big deal. It really doesn't hurt that bad. So yeah, so I came back and my sprained ankle didn't hurt at all because I was still worried about my hand. Oh, it smells so strong.
It smells like the square peanut butter crackers I eat all the time.
And because they had done everything the day before that didn't involve me, I was in every single shot. That whole Sunday, I was on all 3 units at different times. So I did a bunch of the fight stuff up to the point of the slash in the arm. And then I went over to the hospital.
When you went to the hospital, that's when we did the Miguel fall.
I was getting the fake stitches put on, so I went over to the other unit to the hospital. And as I started crying and like all this makeup all over my face, my contact lenses popped out. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? I'm like covered in fake blood on my hands and all this stuff, so I couldn't touch them. I couldn't put them back in or anything, and they were gone. So I was like, well, there go my contact lenses for the day. I was messed up for the rest of the day, so I'm trying to do this scene with like Ralph and Courtney and like crying, looking at them, and I can't see them because I was like, they're so blurry. I get through that stuff. Everybody for that whole day was like, how's the hand? I was like, not broken. And they were like, good. And then I get done at that unit and I had to come back over to redo because we had changed the end of the fight. The original end of the fight was supposed to end with a different kind of finish for me and Peyton. It was a different kick. And then they changed it, choreographed it because it just worked better for the end of the scene. So when we had initially shot me with clutching my arm, looking up and saying like, Robbie, what did you do? There was a different setup of people behind. And then when we finally did shoot the kick at the end, there were different people that needed to be behind me. So I had to go back, get all the tears mopped off my face, get reset to the end of the fight.
Get reset with all the bruises and everything on your face.
To the end of the fight, come in with blood all over me and everything, change back into the clothes, covered in the fake blood, and with the stitches and everything, I had to change back into my original fight outfit. And then do the Robbie, what did you do line again. Then I left that unit and went back and got completely reset to pre-fight to do the shot where I'm holding the Outsiders book sitting in my classroom when I hear Peyton come on the loudspeaker. Remember that was the last shot on that unit and you came over and said that's a wrap. I guess that's everything. I feel like that's pretty much everything for the season.
It was a great season, but it was crazy all the time, but it was really fun.
Obviously, like, season 1 was incredible because it was the first season. It was something new and it was something exciting. Season 2 topped that for me because not only did I get to get involved in the martial arts aspect, I got to get involved with a lot more of my castmates. I got a very different and interesting and cool new storyline for Samantha that I really got to dig into and explore. And really, for the most part, it was like challenging myself physically. I really worked hard to transform my body, to transform my abilities, to transform my belief in myself from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And thanks to like all the people that we were working with, it was easy to do and it was something that was really fun and enjoyable. What the writers said, they were like, we built everything and then at the end of the season we blew it up. So who knows what's gonna come next. I want to hear more of your guys' speculations. I have some of my own. Last thing we need to do though is eat that Robbie cereal. Alright, here we go. Robbie's favorite breakfast, cereal and water.
I don't think it's his favorite. I'm really gonna throw up. I really felt like I was gonna throw up.
No wonder Robbie wanted to move in. So we did it. We ate our way through Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2.
Sort of.
And the 80s. With all the craziness that happened, where I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get through today. I still am like so happy that all of it happened. I feel like it definitely made the experience so special. Everyone was working their butt off, which I think definitely shows. And hopefully I think that's a big aspect as to why you all love it so much. I'm gonna have a bunch of pictures and stuff from all the stories that we've told and some behind the scenes shots over on my Instagram. so go check that out. We had so much fun filming this season of Cobra Kai. I can't wait to see where season 3 takes us. I'm definitely planning on bringing you guys along on the journey if possible. I'm gonna try and show you guys as much of the life of being on Cobra Kai as I can. Maybe some training vlogs or like a day in the life of what it's like to be on set. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had as much fun as we did telling all these stories. Give it a like if you feel bad for us because of how much crap we just ate, and we're going to have to work it all off in training soon. And if you want to see more Cobra Kai content, because we definitely have some planned ideas coming up and some other crazy stuff that I have going on, then subscribe to my channel. Thank you, Tanner, for being here.
Thanks for having me. That was so awkward. We're in a food coma.
We're in a food coma. Anyway, alright, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!